Man, well, let me do that. And live chat. Let me put the other shoes on. Y'all, the nose allergies are kicking. It's that time of the season. I'll see who's up and who comes in. Give us a like, share it out, thumbs up. I'm almost trying to remember what I just put on there. Oh, we're going to talk about voting, inflation, and Chesters. Y'all will understand in a minute. Boom, 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 boom. Well, somebody came in, but it just shows the thumbs up. So I don't know who's come in. And thanks for the thumbs up, whoever gave it. Who's in? Hey, Rochelle, what's up, baby? Hey, Flatbed, what's up? Yeah, I did that a couple days ago. I sometimes just look for random thumbnails. When did I do that? I did that, I think Monday or Tuesday, one of them days. Yeah, I did. It was stew. So I just did a stew. That's the Instapot. I need to get a better tripod. This one is okay. Well, I gotta see if I can angle it. Hey, PJ, what's up, baby? I gotta see if I can angle it so when I'm cooking, y'all can see it, because Mad 14K, I haven't seen her. I hope she's okay. She had asked me to do some cooking videos again, and I'm getting the kitchen ready for that. Also I did some ribs on the grill. I start work Monday. Yay. So I start work on Monday. Thank you, sweet Jesus, because the kids' money I need to start work on Monday. So Monday we start the new job. Hallelujah. They also give us a little bonus too. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know when the first pay period is. I'm praying it would be lovely if they weekly, but most companies are bi-weekly, which means I'm going to probably have to wait about 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on when you start in their pay period. I don't know if they start you at the start of a pay period or some will start you in the middle of the pay period. It just depends. And then like you get a partial check and then you get another one, but we'll see. Thank you, y'all, because it's been a heck of a time. I was, like I said, I was going to do the local transportation. I'll do that if I have to, like if something doesn't work out with this, but right now I'm just believing the Lord on this one because of the way the whole way this thing worked out. How I met the lady at the transportation company who referred me into this company, and I didn't have to even interview. It was just boom, you're hired, be there. I was like, whoa. Because like I said, I put the application in. She said, oh no, you will hear from them. And I don't know what she does for them. She said they've been asking her to go into management for years. So she's got obviously a heck of a reputation. She does something though where she does help, I guess, reps. It is call center stuff, but it's healthcare. So I've done healthcare call center, like I said, it's government contracted. So that much is good. Yeah. So, and like she's gotten, I think 2 or 3 of her own relatives. Well, her daughter, her son's girlfriend, and I think somebody else, I don't remember who it is, and then me. So yeah, it was not bad at all. Let's see what's going on. We'll wait a little bit. How you guys doing? How's the weather in y'all area of the country? Rochelle, where you at? And PJ, where you at? Flatbed, where you at right now in the country? Because I know Flatbed's a driver. PJ, you a driver too, aren't you? I'm gonna see PJ is a driver. We'll give it a few minutes and then I'll start talking about the subjects, because I just throw some. So y'all know I just get on here. I think what I'm gonna try to do with the new job, I'm only off Saturdays and Sundays, and then I also still have schoolwork. Oh, your son's a driver. Okay, got you. Yeah, you guys getting ready to get cold, Rochelle. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, so my homegirl, who's a flight attendant, she's one of the ones that helped me just get through this hump financially. She's in Newark. She works for, it was United Continental. Oh, Continental. No, it's now United. Continental took over by United. So she works for United. So yeah. But, y'all forgive. Forgive me for yawning. It's been a yawn day for me. I slept good last night. The night before, I didn't sleep too good. Oh, Kansas City. Okay, speaking of Kansas City, they've had sale on ribs. So I'm not a huge pork rib person, but I needed to go get some orange juice. I need to do it because I'm going to do my barbecue sauce. Oh, yeah, that's right, Rochelle. I think you did tell me something about Newark. Yep, that's where she's at. I don't know exactly, exact location, but I know she lives in Newark because that's a major hub for the airlines. So she lives out of Newark. Their two hubs are Newark and Dallas for them for flight attendants. Um, but Kansas City, I've had your barbecue sauce. There is a place in Kansas because there was a Swift yard there, and I remember parking and then dropping the trailer, and me and a student bobtailed over to some kind of, I think that's semi-famous barbecue spot. Um, but anyway, I got the St. Louis style ribs. That's what they had on sale. I'm not, like I said, I'm more of a beef. I like beef ribs over pork ribs. Um, I'm a little, sorry y'all, I'm a little weird when it comes to pork. So, um, when I come to barbecue, I'm more of on the beef side than pork side. Pork has a certain flavor to it. I think my main thing with pork, if I do pork, is bacon. I do like, I mean, who doesn't like bacon? I do like bacon, and I have to admit, I know most people don't like chitlins, but I do like chitlins. I haven't had them I don't cook them. I usually go to people who cook them, and I grew up on them. And yes, I know what they come from. Like, oh, how you still eat that? Look, I think it's a testament to us that we could make something that's so disgusting taste good, and they made it taste good, and from slavery on. We were not getting given always the best cuts of any animal back during slavery. So it's a testament to our people and what we can do with it. Maybe it was Gates. The Gates sounds familiar. Anyway, we went there, and and it was good. It was decent. It was good barbecue. I've had barbecue all over the country. Obviously, driving trucks. So I've had Alabama white barbecue sauce barbecue. It's good. Alabama white. I think is it. It's mayonnaise and vinegar. How they do theirs there, and I have some in the kitchen in the cabinet I bought. So I'm kind of like I like to say I'm an aficionado of barbecue because I like barbecues. Um, the best barbecue I had over the road was actually in Virginia. Is it West Virginia? One of the Virginias. And it's at a place called Smiley's Fuel City. If any of y'all are truckers, y'all can look that up. They have, before it was just a counter in this hole in the wall truck stop. My last visit there, they have added on a cafe. So if you have a reset or you have time, you can park, and they do have a whole bar, grill, food, everything. I never drank when I'm over the road, and I'm not a heavy drinker anyway. I never drank when I was over the road unless I had taken time off, or my truck was going to be down for certain days, and I had friends or family that took me out. And I'm not a heavy drinker anyway. Mainly would be a margarita, some wine, something like that. But that's it. And normally Mexican food. Or if I go to sushi, I will do sake sometimes. Let's see here, people who eat sausage. Yeah, oh, flatbed. Because if you eat sausage with the skin on, oftentimes that skin is made from a animal, usually pig, and it's like a casing. That's one aspect of it. So we won't even go into that. Come on now, tell the truth. A lot of times sausage is also not made from the top meat. A lot of times the reason people do sausage is they're grinding up the worst part of the animal and putting that into sausage. So it becomes more edible, and that's what they use. So yeah, come on now, tell the truth, shame the devil. Gates is what I think it is. I think it was Gates. Wasn't too far from the Swift yard I was at. Idaho. Oh, I'm in Idaho. They get cold as hell. Idaho. Oh, but there is oh man. Bill and I used to go to that truck stop. Bill, the one who told me about it. Garden or something. It's something like Garden of Eden, but that's something like that. I got a truck stop there with a little cafe on the side. Bomb. It has like a couple different restaurants in there. I think it had a Blimpies or a sub shop, something else in there, and then the cafe. Bomb. And then they got a little convenience store. Convenience store is really nice. I never did their showers there, but I know they have showers too. It's a truck stop too. Nice big lot. I can't remember. There's a not too far from there is the what's the yogurt? Chobani yogurt plant. Chobani. It's just, is it west? I'm gonna say west, south. I don't know. It's been a long time. It might be south of that location, but it's just down from that particular truck stop in Idaho. Pretty sure. Yeah. And then there's that TA there. But barbecue, I've eaten barbecue everywhere. But my favorite barbecue, hands down, will be Texas barbecue, and it's more so I'm a sauce person. So some people talk about the barbecue for the smoke. I think smoking barbecue to me is just it's just a smoked meat. If it's done well, you got good smoke flavor. But I'm a person, I need the sauce with. To me, the barbecue's good. Yes, the meat is good, but I want the sauce with the meat because to me the are hand in hand. It just depends on who you are. Some try to be such an aficionado. Oh, it's just the smoked meats. Okay, yeah, the smoked meat is good, and I usually try the meat first. But then I want to taste that sauce, and to me, the sauce is what takes it to the next level. What's your skill set with the sauce? So, but I'm more of a beef barbecue person. But I can do pork occasionally, and it happened to be on sale. They had them for what the St. Louis style ribs were $1.88. So I got a pack. It was $5, and I smoked them the other day. But I'm gonna try to do. I guess I've had some people in the background that said they like the discussions, and that's kind of more me. But I'm also going to try to get some more of what I do in here, like if I'm cooking and stuff. This tripod, thank you, Mad 14K, because it was a donation she made that got this tripod. It doesn't allow me really to sit it in the kitchen. What I need is one that kind of clips on the top and hangs down, and I've seen some of those on Amazon. But financially, that's not a need right now. It's just like later next year sometime when things hopefully level out, I need to get a better laptop and I want to switch to Apple. Apple has just the longevity of an Apple laptop. They're better made. They have very good editing software. I want to go more that route. And I'll be doing more on here. So that's kind of one of my goals because it's also going to help me with the goal of something I'm trying to do with the sauce and start selling that because I'll be honest, I think everybody needs a side hustle. I need a side hustle. And my side hustle I want to do from my house. I don't want to go work for another entity. Working for folks is too up and down. Going through this has definitely taught me that you need to have a side hustle. You need to have a residual income. I'm also 54, so I'm about to be very close to retirement age. I don't have huge retirement anything left, okay? Because I've been just up and down through the housing market crash, loss of property, all of that. So I have really nothing. I'm going to be dependent upon Social Security. And I realize right now, looking at everybody, that's not going to be a good thing if everything's around. Because I'm like I said, I'm a big person. For those of my folks who know I'm Christian, I'm a huge person on like right now, Lord, when are you coming back? Because I don't see what we call a rapture too far around the corner based on everything. So if I'm still here, I want to, you have to, the Bible tells us to occupy. So we have to be here and occupy. You just can't just sit on a lump and go, okay, I'm waiting on Jesus. You can't do that. That's dumb. That's kind of like grumpy, just sleeping in a chair, sleeping your entire retirement away. So what I would like to do if we had more time, if we have time on the planet, I would love to have an RV and I would travel around the country. That's something I would love to do. And just travel around the country, retired, or doing whatever I needed to do from my RV. If I could work from my RV, oh my God, that would be dream. That's my dream, to work from my RV. And to travel around the country because that much is the only thing I miss about trucking. I love travel. I love the travel part of it. What I didn't like about trucking was putting up with all of the corporate dumb stuff and the lack of maintenance of the equipment. It was like, it was more frustrating than anything. I was like, that's why they got high blood pressure and everything else, because you're irritated. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let me see here. All right, and let's see. All right. Yeah, everybody getting ready to deal with cold weather. So I'm gonna bring up something, and I want to bring up. We have a new person watching the channel, and she puts comments and thank you. Me and you, gonna agree on some things, and we're gonna disagree on others. But I always like a little conversation, and conversations don't mean you always agree. So we have, I think it's Stefania. I think that's the name. That's the one whose comments were blocked when she was talking about the previous administration. Well, she put some more comments down on the previous video. And she's a big proponent for voting. And I got you. I feel you. And voting by the standards of what historically, especially in the African American community in America, what we had to do to vote for civil rights. Should we vote? Yeah, you should vote. However, I'm going to say this like this. I am a proponent of a couple of things. As you guys know, I'm taking a class right now at Grand Canyon University here in Arizona. I'm taking, trying to get my bachelor's in theology. The class that I have this go round is called Christian Worldview, okay? I'm telling you this for a reason. When we started the class, I didn't know how they were really going to do. What do you mean Christian worldview? Are you pushing Christian worldview? But when it opened up, what it does is explain what the Christian worldview is. But in doing that, it also has to acknowledge other worldviews. If you're an atheist, if you're agnostic, a pantheism, it goes through a whole bunch of different worldviews and understanding them. And it also tells people taking the class, yes, we're a Christian university and we're going to speak on what we believe, but we also know people attend here who aren't Christians. This is one thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to try to say this about the country, and then I'm going to get into why I'm prefacing this in the beginning. The beautiful thing that used to be, I won't say that it's as prevalent now because it's not. It's another agenda's being pushed. And I believe I understand more on a spiritual side on why it's being pushed and on a prophetic side on why it's being pushed. It used to be that America was a country you could come here and you can believe in what the hell ever you want to believe. You could be what the hell ever you wanted to be within your power to achieve those goals. You could think what you want to think. You can do whatever you want to do. And I'm even going to say this to this degree. You want to come here and be a criminal? You can do that. Now there's repercussions for those actions. You know, you want to come here and be a Satanist? You can do that. It's weird, but from my perspective, but you can do that. You want to come here and be whatever religious belief you want to be? You could do that. You want to come here and vote Republican? You can do that. You want to vote Democratic? You can do that. You want to vote independent? You can do that. Or you can come here and not vote at all. Okay? America was a country of you do what you want to do pretty much. If you commit an act that was illegal or harmful to the community, then there are repercussions for that. You got the right to do it, meaning that you got the free will, godly choice to do it. But if you do it in our country, there are repercussions. Now, there are repercussions in the grand scheme of things on choosing a party to be a part of. Independent, Republican, Democrat. Be any one of those parties you want. You don't like certain cultures and you want to be a racist or have biases against people, you could do that too. You could do that if you want to. You got the right to in America. It was kind of frowned upon. It was looked up on that something was wrong with you, but you got the right to not like a certain culture or people. This is America. You also could be from any culture, Black, Latino, any Polish, German, Jewish, Anglo-Saxon, which is white European. Be any of those things. You could be any of those things. You have the right to. When I was reading her comments, and she's got some very good points, and I understood one. One of them I just recently read, and every time she puts a comment, she stresses about the need to vote. So she's someone who sees a picture of if we vote a certain way, we'll get a certain outcome. If we vote another way, we'll get another outcome. So she says, vote correctly, basically. She's telling you to vote the right way. I can't tell you to vote the right way because I don't know what the right way is for you. I'm going to be honest. I got friends of mine who are African American who support Trump. They support his whole entire agenda. And while I'm not a fan of his, I'm not a fan of the current administration. They got the right to do that. And they're my friends. Honestly, they are. We may agree to disagree on political, but they're my friends. On certain levels, very sweet people. They're African American. I do get it. They're probably coming from more of those who are Christian, who are aligning themselves with him, regardless of his issues. They got the right too. There are those friends of mine who are African American who are wholeheartedly on board with old boy who's in office right now. I don't necessarily agree with everything with him. They got the right to, and we're friends. I have friends of mine who are independent. Usually how I'm registered is independent. And they got the right to vote however they want to. And I got associates of mine who don't register at all. I don't want to vote. I'm just going to roll with the punches. It's in God's hands. I'm friends with them too. I will never tell you to vote appropriately. You're going to vote what you're going to feel led to vote. Whether you decide to vote at all. You have the right in this country to vote, to not vote. You got the right to vote how you want to. And the problem is that so many of us have gotten so, I think, pushy that if you don't think like me, you don't act like me, then I think the new word is cancel culture, something like that, then you're ixnayed and you're not right. And it becomes very almost defensive. And it can become violent in some cases. It can become where families don't talk to each other. And the thing is that we used to be a culture that we just agreed to disagree. Bobby's Republican, I'm Democrat. Johnny's independent, I'm Republican. I mean, I'm not, but you know what I'm trying to say. And we could sit down at a table and we either did not bring the conversation up because we were so vastly opposed and we talked about everything else and still had a friendship and a relationship. For whatever reason, well, I do know reason, this has changed. And it's changed because there's things culminating on a spiritual prophetic level that it kind of needs to be this way. I won't go down that rabbit trail fully right now, maybe a little bit later on. You got the right. You don't like black folks? You got the right to. Quick story. I met a young man, and I've got friends. This is something in Christian worldview they were talking about. If you're Christian, or if you have a belief system, tell of a time when you've had people you've interacted with who don't believe the same as you. I got a plethora of friends like that because I come from a time when you can believe what you want to believe. I don't agree with Mormonism, but I got friends who are Mormons. I don't agree with Wiccans, but I got friends who practice whatever they believe or believe they're Wiccans. I don't believe in Jehovah's Witness, but I got friends who are Jehovah's Witness. I don't believe in Buddhism, but I got friends who are Buddhist. I don't believe in the New Age and metaphysical stuff, but I got friends who practice it. I have family members who practice it. I may not agree, but does that mean that I cannot interact with them? And they may not agree with me. America is that salad bowl where we're all in there, a mix of everything with all sorts of different characteristics. I don't like to say, we used to say it was a soup, or was it, they say a melting pot. I hate that melting pot. Melting means we all become one, aligned. I disagree with that. We're a salad bowl. We have all sorts of unique flavors and things that are in that salad. And, you know, you may not like certain aspects of it, pick out what you don't want if you eat it, but we're a salad bowl. And we have a collection of all sorts of stuff up in there. As long as you're not crazy and you're not violent, you're not evil, you're not perverse, And when I say crazy, meaning doing crazy stuff that would fall outside the line of me jacking with you, oh, we we have to be careful when we're trying to force people to do what we want them to do. So, do I agree with her vote? Yeah, if you're going to register and you feel so led, vote and vote how you sense you should. What works for you. I didn't like the past administration, but if that's what you want to vote for, give it all you got. I'm not a fan of the current administration, but if that's what you're going to vote for, if that person's runs, give it all you got. If you don't vote and that's how you feel, you're just going to roll with the punches of whatever comes out on the table, do you give it all you got. It's America. And originally 54 years old, it used to be we all come to the table and we all have different views, different experiences, and that dictates how we vote. I don't agree with abortion. So if I went to the poll, I'm probably going to vote against it. However, whatever the ultimate decision is, I'm going to have to live with that. And I'm not going to be angry at Sally who does agree with abortion. Whatever and mine is because of Christian views. I don't. And I have to, in my view, and because of my belief system, stand before God and say, you said it's okay to do abortion. I saw you voted for that. I didn't know. Shannon said no. Now, people may have an issue with me on that. This is America. You got the right to. You got the right to not. You got the right to. So, it's just like the view that all of a sudden they're pushing this thing that abortion is like a birth control. I am blown because I'm like, when did abortion become birth control? Abortion to me has always been about, I got pregnant because somebody didn't wrap something up and somebody wasn't doing and somebody was screwing around and you done got pregnant and you're either not taking a pill or whatever and old boy ain't wearing condoms or getting a vasectomy. So guess what? You got a responsibility. Now, I have been a proponent that I believe that there's a lot of males who don't raise their kids and women getting stuck with it. And that to me is a problem. That's an issue. We need to deal with that issue. But I just have a distinct view that, hey, but then there's people I know who they're now looking at this as a form of birth control. To me, that's twisted and sick. But that's my belief system. To somebody else, them seeing this as birth control is their normal. How I would see killing a child, they see it as not a child. I don't agree. That's their view. They got to answer for their stuff. I got to answer for mine. That's how I see it. And abortion is a strong issue. It's a strong conversation. But it's not a conversation I'm going to get in with somebody who says, well, I'm pro-choice. I'm kind of pro-choice too. You got the free will to do it or not do it, but I'm not going to vote for it. Because I think it's killing a kid. Do you? There's many other subjects that are very deep subjects that while I have friends who are involved in all sorts of things, I used to be active in a certain lifestyle, I'm not. And I would not be a proponent for certain things for it. If it's voted that way, we just got to roll with it. And you may disagree. Like I said, Rochelle, you got every right to disagree. We got to disagree with a whole bunch of stuff. We got every right to agree or disagree. This is what makes America great. You have the freedom too. But when a vote, it's just like this whole election thing. I'll give you an example. All of a sudden, the election doesn't go your way. Oh, election's fraudulent. Somebody did something wrong. Don't matter. You got your own groups that went back, counted, looked at all the documents, looked at all the data, and you couldn't find no issues. Very marginal errors, if any. But yet, because it didn't turn out your way, you now going to keep on with madness instead of just saying, this is the process. That's why, what's his name? What's his name with the P? The one who was a VP. When he went and signed off on it, because at least, thank God, he knew the process. He wasn't a grown little boy throwing a temper tantrum. And he's like, nope, let's go ahead and sign off on this. And Pence, that's his name, Pence. Because guess what? You can't. This is the process. If we didn't win, we didn't win. Go ahead and move on. This is America. That's what makes our country unique. That's what makes us different and has made us different from other countries that have had dictatorships, where I can go in there and I can definitely do this and I can force this and I can lie and I can dictate, make it look like you're doing something and you're not. Russia's doing that right now with the Ukraine madness. You know, you got the right to. However, things have changed. We have Supreme Court for a reason and the way it's set up. I may not agree with everything. I may not agree. That one dude that got on there who most likely raped that lady, I didn't agree with it, but hey. I'm a molest victim, an attempted rape victim, and as a personal choice, I probably, and I don't know how necessarily had I become pregnant, I would have dealt with it. I personally don't believe in abortion, so I probably would have had a child, and if I was not comfortable with it, I would have given the child up. My friend Joe has a friend of his who was raped and got pregnant, and she did not believe in abortion. She had her son, and she said out of the horrific event, that was the best thing that happened to her. So is that she loved her child. And I think it's going to be perspective in how people deal with it. I still, even in a rape, and I know it's a lot to ask a person to do, is to go ahead and carry the child to term, and then if they can't deal with it, go ahead and give it up. We're going to be talking about molesters at the end. That's the Chester's molesters. We'll talk about that at the end because that's a whole nother conversation I just recently had with someone. So I do see your point and I understand it, but that solution I think is, I don't know. Again, I just see it as taking a life, and I see two wrongs don't necessarily make two. Hey, Tanya, what's up, baby? Two wrongs don't make a right. And it is a very traumatic event, whether a woman or a man, because men can be raped too. I have a friend who was a young boy who was being repeatedly raped by his father and another man. So we can go there. But granted, he can't get pregnant, but yeah, I get you. I still am not a proponent of abortion, even in hard cases. And those are hard cases. That's just honesty. But I do think it's, like I said, it's an individual choice. My biggest thing is whatever our system of things that we've done, it's what's in place. Now we've become so fighting against the system, so real quick on the spiritual side, and then I'm going to jump to the next conversation. But I do think, so to Stephania, I hope I'm saying her name right, I do think it's important that if you so choose, please vote, and then vote how you so feel led. I don't tell you to vote the right way. I'm going to tell you vote how you feel led, because you have to answer for that based on whatever your belief system, whatever your code is for you, okay? While I may not agree with it and other people may not agree with it, you got to do you. I may think it's crazy as hell. You may think it's normal. Do you. What was I going to say here? I was going to say something else and I almost forgot. That's the voting part. Inflation. So I'm going to jump to inflation, y'all. I'm going to jump to inflation. Let me see if anybody said anything on here. Okay. Hey, and Tanya, I hope you heard me say hi. The next thing, and I'm just talking about stuff that's been on my mind, y'all. Y'all know I just get into stuff that's been on my mind. I saw, and some people said they like my talk, so I was like, well, I'm gonna get on here because tonight this has been on my mind. And some of my friends, we are so different, I can't. Well, I got one friend, she's a sweetheart, but she's not on the same necessary page as me when it comes to news. She likes watching, she like Lifetime movies, and she one of those ones that she don't want to get caught up into the heavy duty thinking stuff. It's just like, and if she does, she just don't. My best friend, okay, she guess I'm moving around. Okay, my best friend, she jumped out the plane. She hate the previous administration. If you get her on anything, she want them dead. She be killed. I'm like, Jane, don't jump out the plane. Don't, Jane, stay in the plane, because she just jump out. You cannot get her on a conversation. And she live in Florida. And that a-hole live here. She just jumped right out the plane. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. And I feel sorry for him because I think he's just a very damaged individual, which has made him the person he is. It was the same thing was wrong with Monty. Grumpy was damage doesn't always mean abuse. Damage can, well, I think there were some issues mentally for Monty that broke him, but damages also can be being spoiled. Um, it just can be. And Monty was spoiled, and he could do no wrong. So him and old boy kind of to me very much similar. Um, I'm gonna get into this real quick. I'm laughing because it's funny to me. Um, and y'all just kind of follow my bouncing ball with this. Inflation. I'm gonna deal with that. So I've been watching, and everybody, the prices of food. Some have been touting supply chain shortages, food shortages. Famine has been mentioned a lot. America, again, because we're so privileged, I don't think we think famine is ever going to really touch us because we've been what's called the land of plenty back when I grew up, as if we could not be hit by things. And this comes from driving truck, but it also comes, like I said, I was having dreams way early on that I felt the Lord was warning me. So my house, I've always been a person who has always, because I grew up under Depression era grandparents, and my grandparents, especially Grumpy's mom, she always had a supply of food. She also always had a garden. So did my mother's father. So he always had a garden. He didn't maybe keep as much food as my grandmother, but he had like a little pantry area with a bunch of canned goods and dry goods in the pantry, okay? So he always had that. And there was a garden in the back. So you go out there and get collards and squash and other stuff. He always had that okra. I don't know if he grew corn. I'm trying to remember because I grew up on okra, corn, tomatoes, which were my favorite little dishes. Fresh corn, fresh okra, and then you would have tomatoes you dice up in there, and whew, that was the bomb. So I grew up on that. That was like bomb meal, okay? My grandfather, and I'm trying to just think right now, y'all. He did, but he didn't have as much food as my grandmother. My grandmother, she was the type who would wash her foil, her Ziplocs, reuse it, hang it dry. It is delicious, the bomb, ain't it? Rochelle, I love okra, corn, tomatoes. Haven't had it in a minute, and I love it. She would hang her Ziplocs. She would wash her foil. She reused stuff. She stretched stuff. She was the one that I said had toilet paper from floor to ceiling. And these were Depression era people. The newer generations, those that are probably 40 and under, they didn't grow up with these type of people. And I'm probably a rare breed of my age group that may have even had interactions to see and absorb that. Washing your Ziplocs is a winner because they're expensive as hell right now. I'm getting ready to probably start doing it myself. And you can get this little, it used to be, now she's just hanging hers up. She had a little line. She would hang up in the kitchen and she'd clip them up just like she would clothes on the laundry line. But I may be doing exactly the same thing. We've made a lot of things disposable that we are going to realize how critical they are and the amount of money that we're using to do it. Actually, you mentioned that right now, and I just threw something out. I'm thinking about it now. I should have rinsed it out and put it in there. If you use those Debbie Green bags, they tell you you can wash those out and hang them and dry them and reuse those too. They keep like the certain level of, so to keep your vegetables fresh longer, I use those. And they're not cheap. So you can wash those and reuse them too. But you know what? I just thought about it. I'm probably going to get something similar, do a little line in here and do the same thing. But you can also, there used to be a thing you could get online where it had these little sticks that stuck up and you would hang them on there after you wash them and let them air dry out. She would wash her tin foil, all of that. And when I went to my grandmother, she had a freezer. So her freezer is what she mainly used. Her freezer is what she mainly used. When it came down to food preservation. And then, but my father said back when he was growing up, she did canning. So a lot of, canning, a lot of people are going back to that. And I have some canning jars here. I forgot what I got them for. I got them for years ago. And I think I got them to do my salsa and some other stuff. And I was doing my barbecue sauce in them. When I was working at the University of Phoenix, I was selling people. So I have like 2 things in canning jars. And for a while during COVID, COVID is not over. They say it's gone in the sense, I guess it's not as potent, but people are still dying from it. And I did get my booster shot. Only side effect was sore arm again, sore arm, sore elbow, and itchy at the site. And I had the last 3 injections were itchy at the site and the sore arm. So the sore arm, this time my elbow was sore and just itchy at the site. So that was the only thing. My arm wasn't as sore as it was last time. But the elbow was sore and it was itchy at the injection site. That was it. And itch usually means it's healing from where they probably stuck you and whatever that stuff is doing. And see, that's the other thing. For those who don't believe in the vaccine, you got the right to. You got the right to incubate that virus if you want and let it variate. You do that. Do you, boo-boo. I didn't have a problem. Like I said, I researched Pfizer, have been looking at different COVID vaccines, like SARS and all of that. So this is not new. It's a SARS-based virus. I mean, it's a COVID-based virus like SARS. So I didn't see any problem with it. I waited to see if other folks didn't have any issues and if they didn't croak from it. Since they didn't most likely croak from it, boom. And I had already researched which company I was going to go with. I didn't know much about Moderna, not knocking them, God bless them. I didn't know them. They were new to me. Pfizer's been around for years. Again, these are choices. This is not free will choice. So I went with Pfizer. Johnson & Johnson, I was aware of Johnson & Johnson. They came out way after. I don't know if I would have considered them or not, but I knew I dang sure didn't want nothing to do with them with the blood clot issue because I have blood clotting disorder, so I don't need to add to the problem. So I stuck with Pfizer. Pfizer has been around for years. Thank you. If you got any kind of, exactly. Yeah. Actually, Tanya, my mother did used to do jelly. So she would make jelly, canned jelly. And she did plums. Like when plums would come in season, she would do like a plum jelly. And it was good. That's the first time and I saw her do it. And that's back in the day where you would melt the wax and put the wax on top of the, you do the wax on top of the, what I want to say? On top of the can to make a better seal. So they had like this wax that they would do that you have to break and then you set it. And we did plums. She would do like, she did a season of just when it was plums and want to do some canning. And she did that. And we had plum jelly. So she would just get a wild hair up her butt and try something new. That was the first time I ever had, like you grew your own sprouts in the house. She would just try something new and boom. But again, she was a food person, heavy set woman too. My mother, she can cook. That was one thing, she can cook. But yes, I grew up on some canned stuff too. Like I like apple butter and I would love to learn how to make that and can it. Actually, I've got some videos saved on YouTube because it is apple season right now where you can make apple butter. And I love apple butter. It's really good with breakfast. If y'all don't know what apple butter is, it's like the apples are crushed and they're kind of sweet. If you ever want to sample it, if you have a Cracker Barrel near you, they have it. They usually have it as a item you can ask for. Back to it. So food right now, everybody's talking about the cost of food. One of the things that has helped me during this job up and down loss situation was I had started even more than usual saving food. Initially, I was saving for 2 people and I wanted to have at least a year's supply of food on hand. And I was looking at if Grumpy had to come here because I knew he was going to be such a special individual that he wouldn't do what I was telling him and put food aside. And then he going to sit there and go, I ain't got nothing to eat. Oh, you don't? I knew he was going to do it. And if something had happened horrific, I do think we are coming up on a time where food is going to be, it's already going to be a major issue because of costs. But I think we're going to run into, coming into the next year and the year after that, food scarcity. People are going to have to make decisions about riding a bus, driving a car, riding a bus, or driving a car or taking public transit, which will be cheaper, in order to put food on the table. That's what I was trying to say. So if it's cheaper to ride the bus, the train, wherever you may live in the country, people may have to go that route in order to put food on the table. I also believe that's one of the reasons right now, while public transit has a lot of people possibly retiring out, I believe that's also why there's a growing across the country. Because even in New Jersey right now, there's a girl that's associated with me on Facebook who came, I think, through the trucking part of it in transportation, and she's associated, and she drives, I think, for New Jersey public transit. And I think she put something posted that they're hiring right now with a $6,000 sign-on bonus. So this is something US wide where you're starting to see public transit. And I believe some of this is because you're going to see more and more people having to go that route in order to save money, because the cost of fuel is so expensive that it's cheaper probably to take public transit that goes pretty much your route, walk to wherever you walk, ride your bike to wherever you ride, and save money. The cost of food is going to be exorbitant, and we're going to have some more rate hikes. We're going to have more rate hikes. Things are going to get really tough. It's going to be a different kind of tough. And that's why I said you want to be in certain industries. I would say number one industry to be in is anything dealing with grocery stores, anything dealing with food warehouses. I'm not talking fast food, because even fast food is going to have a struggle. I'm talking where people have to go get food to eat and make their own meals, because fast food is going to have a struggle because the cost of their food is going to have to go up in order for them to even serve. So you're looking, it's just like, where did we go? Subway. I remember being able to go get a $5 sub at Subway. We went into Subway and we had coupons, me and Linda. And Linda was like, $11? Literally $11 for the sub. If you didn't have to buy one, get one. And even then, by the time you got a drink and whatever, if you got the meal, you're talking $14 for a sub. We're not talking Jersey Mike, we're talking Subway. And Subway always was a cheap sub alternative. Decent sub, cheap sub alternative. Jersey Mike's has always been high, but I remember going to Jersey Mike's was $10. Now to get the same sub, you're talking about 14 to $20 for a sub. If it's a more upscale sub shop. Times are changing. Okay? Cooking in your house is going to be your best bet. And one of the things that has helped me during this financial crunch, me and Linda went to the store. She came by, and I forgot what we had to do. She helped me because she helped me with, granted, I have 4 friends that helped me come in to be able to cover rent for 2 months, okay? One did September, and 2 helped me with October. And then whatever had left over would help me with utility bills. I got a few extra bills that are coming, and I've had a couple other friends that have stepped in that are helping up until I get my first paycheck and get income flowing again. Thank you, Jesus. Monday, y'all, keep me in prayer. Monday is D-Day. I start the new job, and hopefully everything works okay with it. I'm just believing God, because right now that's just believing God, and believe God that Old Man Red will keep going until I can replace Old Man Red, or until God provides a different car than Old Man Red. But when we went, Linda took me to the grocery store because we had to pick up the money orders that I did pay with rent with either money orders, sometimes check, but I did money order. I like money orders. I do. I was like, the cash is out your account. Boom, it's done. You send it. I ended up in there, and when we walked around, she goes, oh, you don't need, I don't need meat. I mean, if it's on sale, I might grab something. But for the most part, I needed fresh vegetables. That was it, because my lizards and everybody else like to eat my garden. I'm going to be trying that again, too. Getting ready. I got a drip system I got to put in. It's been sitting here for a minute. I just got to put it in, which is going to help. And then I need to get some netting, because me and the lizards, they've been killing me. Lizards and insects, they just really kill me. So I'm going to get some netting and stuff that hopefully help with that issue. When we went to the store, a head of lettuce, just iceberg lettuce, Now, I always remember being able to get iceberg lettuce for $1. $2 for a head of iceberg lettuce. Romaine and all those other ones were like a couple bucks too. They had a 90, and you have to shop your sale ads now. You have to shop, if you being frugal, you got to shop the sale ads. And the sale ads is funny because me and a friend were saying a lot of times the sales are what the original price was that we saw as the regular price. Well, they had a 99 cents produce sale. So when I went in there, I got, was it last week? I went and got heads of lettuce, but I didn't have like iceberg. It was like your romaine and your leaf lettuce. So I got 3 or 4 of them in the refrigerator. You can make salad. You can make sandwiches. You can use them on a tostada. You can use them on a taco. So I do use lettuce. So I got like 3 or 4 of those. They had pineapples, whole pineapples, $1. I got 2 of those, whatever the minimum was. I think it was minimum we could do 2. I had 2 of those. So I cored those and then I cut them into chunks. And they're in the refrigerator. I did that yesterday with them. I waited till they were ready and then I cored them and just put them into chunks in the refrigerator. Tomatoes. I like tomato on the vine, but tomato on the vine doesn't last as long as Romas. So I got the Romas because Romas can last. I don't know why, they just last better. And I have them sitting in the Debbie green bags. I got some onion. I'm usually a big onion person, so I got onion. I keep Costco crushed garlic, that chopped garlic from Costco. So the other thing I did is when you buy in bulk, and I guess I should probably start talking about it because I think, in my opinion, right now, for a lot of people to get through what's coming, you need to stock and you need to shop your sale ads. I don't know if I'll do grocery hauls because I love watching videos where people do the grocery hauls, and I watch people who tend to be stockers, who what we call urban preppers, meaning that they may not have a homestead, they may not be in the country, they may not be that prepper that got a bunker and all a militia weapon. They may not be them, but I'm also a person that believes you can learn from people. And again, what my grandparents were, they were preppers in the sense of, no, they didn't have a bunker, but they were urban preppers, which meant in case something happens bad, I got food. I got beans and rice. I got toilet paper. When we went to the store, the number of people who ran out of toilet, Joe, we went over here to Sprouts, and Joe, when we walked in there, he's like, well, I need to get rice, because when all this was going down, like the day before we had went out, we didn't understand because the previous administration wasn't telling us about COVID. So we didn't understand the severity of things. We had gone out. I think we even filmed it. I might have filmed it where we went to the sushi place and we had sushi and rotating sushi bar and we're chilling. We had no idea. I was like, oh yeah, they want me to work from home. I didn't know what COVID really was. We didn't know. And then it was a day or two later, he's like, Shannon, I need to get rice. And I was like, yeah, I need to get some more rice and beans too. I mean, I had some packets in here, but I had enough that I could eat off on maybe for, I don't even know if it was a month, maybe a couple of weeks. And so I'm like, we went in the store and I was like, what? And I'm in Arizona, so we don't have hurricanes for the most part. We don't have tornadoes. They call them wind bursts. We have them kind of, but they call them wind bursts. That's new, and it's climate change because we never really had tornadoes. We don't have major natural disasters other than we've had some flooding. Our flooding has been different from when I grew up, probably due to the climate change, or what we call, when I was growing up, global warming. So all that's been different. So I'm like, well, we walked in there and I'm like, the toilet paper is gone, the beans and rice were empty. And Joe's like, this is scaring me. I'm like, no, this is funny as hell to me. Because I grew up, and not funny in the bad way, but funny, and this is crazy as hell. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, who only buys, enough toilet paper for a week? But I've stayed with people that I know who have. They only buy it for a certain period of time because they're budgeting according to their money. They're not seeing long-term what if. And it wasn't for me necessarily a what if. It was just always have extra on hand because that's how I grew up. So I didn't even realize we had gone to get my new pair of eyeglasses. We were at Costco because that's where I get my eyeglasses through. I said, oh, I love their toilet paper. Let me get a pack. We go in there and I grab a pack. It was sitting in the bottom of my closet. But even though every week, and I just never did use it, every week when I would shop, because I would either have to use Uber or Lyft, I was either going to Safeway or Family Dollar, and I would, if they had stuff on sale, I would always buy extra. So I, luckily enough, had at least a couple of months, if not more, toilet paper in my closet. So then once it started dwindling and I discovered Instacart, then I knew I could order Costco toilet paper. And after going through that experience, it gave me that kind of like probably what my grandparents had, that aha moment that you need to have even more in case of. And every time I ordered Costco, I ordered toilet paper. Every time I ordered Costco, I ordered toilet paper. But then I started having dreams about food. Hey D, what's up? Welcome to the channel. I ain't talked to you in a while. You been on? No, D been on here before. D, what's up, baby? D, I haven't seen you in a minute. You've been on here in a while. But every time I ordered Costco, I ordered toilet paper. I'm sitting on this chest, so if y'all see me move, it's because this thing is not comfortable. I probably should have moved the chair over here. That's probably what I should have did, because the chair is more comfortable, y'all. Anyway, so I would order more toilet paper every time Costco had a sale. I would order toilet paper. Or excuse me, every time I ordered Costco, I would order their toilet paper because you get big packs, and it's just me. So by the time it was over with, my goal was 6 months or more. Then if money became a little tight, I would then hold. But it's like right now, I probably got, and I've been down for about 2 months off and on with the income. Well, I had like intermittent for like 3 weeks after the one job loss. Then when I tried going to the bus company, so I was down no income for about 30 days, which y'all, 30, right before Labor Day. So right before Labor Day to now. So that's going to be like 45 days. Is that 30 days or 45 days? Yeah, Labor Day was the 5th. So it would be the 4th or whatever. So yeah, about 45 days, which is, y'all know that's a hit. And I still have to wait because usually when you go work for a company, you got to wait 2 to 4 weeks for your first paycheck, depending on when they get paid. So I know that depending on when I'm coming in on their pay period, it could be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks before a first paycheck, okay? I honestly did not have to go to the grocery. I could have even gone without fresh produce and had food to eat. I got beans, I got rice. I got probably close to 100 pounds of rice in this house. I had about 35 pounds of pinto beans. I have other beans, black beans. I've got lentils. You need to have dry staples. So as far as beans are going, I'm not worried about that. As far as rice, I'm not worried about that. I got airtight containers to put them in, food grade. I got flour. I do need to check my flour because flour has to be stored a certain way to avoid weevils. If y'all know what weevils are, so when you get flour coming from a field, they have eggs in there. If those eggs hatch, you get weevils, which are bugs in the flour. It needs to be stored a certain way. One of the preventatives is bay leaves. Another preventative is you can get those air absorbers, and that will prevent oftentimes the eggs and stuff from hatching and other bugs from if they try to get in there. And you want to put them in an airtight container. Right now, I have them, the cooler I'm sitting on, I have the bags in there with some bay leaves around the bags. What you really should do is I have a container in the room. I need to get a gamma lid. I just haven't ordered it because gamma lids were high as hell. And it was not a huge budget issue available to me at the time. But I will be, once I start working, I'm going to go ahead and order the gamma lid. I have the bucket in the room, which is a food grade bucket. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at Home Depot. Just make sure it says food grade. And you just get those white painter buckets. You can have other buckets too. Y'all have to move around. On Amazon, I found they were food grade buckets and people were using them for animal food, but there were other people who were using them for grains and rice. And so I bought them because they were cheap. And it has a seal lid, airtight, and it also had a little airtight bucket that went on top for smaller things. So I have like bags of lentils and bags of black beans that are smaller bags. I just put them in there. With rice, you have to do a white rice. If you do brown rice has an oil in it and it will go rancid. So if you're going to do a large thing of brown rice, it can go rancid and it may not store well, and it can get old, whereas white rice does not have that oil in it. So while brown rice may be better because of the fiber, white rice stores longer. So that's what I have. If I want brown rice, I may get a bag, but that's something I'm going to be cooking immediately. It's not something I'm sitting for a long period of time. We had to go, Joe and I, to even get rice and beans. We ended up at a Latino store when all this went down. And we were able to find it there, and people were just piled around. And I was scooping for me and Joe because he was in the meat section getting stuff for his family. I had 2 bags, one for him, one for me. I said, how much do you want? I got for me, because I didn't, at this point, I knew other people needed too, and it's just me at this point. So I scooped as much beans as I could get. Once I figured out about Instacart, Costco offered large bags of dried beans. So I ordered one of the large bags of pinto beans, and I ordered a large bag of rice. That's just what I did. And I got the storage containers and I put them in there, and then I had the bay leaves. Bay leaves for both the rice and the beans. And I ordered a large, like, industrial thing of bay leaves. Because of what I did, and I realize now that right now has been a blessing for me, because I'm hearing people paying $200 and $300 for groceries for the simple stuff that I already have in my house that I had been collecting since I started having dreams about the early part of the pandemic about food issues. I know food, like I can tell you dreams. I had been telling my Christian channel all along, guys, do this, this, and this. Smaller grits, even Miss Linda. Linda, her sister, told her, she said, yeah, I think I need to store up. Girl, I went to the grocery store, this, that, and the other thing. She said, I told you, Shannon called me. That girl told me a year and a half ago something was coming. And she said, and she keeps saying, it ain't done yet. This is going to get worse. And she said, and all of a sudden we seeing these prices are crazy. Certain foods you want, or oxtail, $50 to make $10 a pound for the tail of a cow. I cannot. I mean, it's just been insane. And like I said, because I already had foods and I'm a sales shopper, my freezers could only hold so much. I want a freezer. I don't have a freezer right now. I have 2. So the truck had a little freezer, like, little apartment size refrigerator freezers. I have meats in there stuffed to the gill in that little one. And then the one in the kitchen, that's your regular standard refrigerator, I have that stuffed to the gill with meat. But I want a freezer. And I don't know if I'm going to have to see. Nikki's eventually moving, and she has stuff in her house. She does have a refrigerator that has a freezer. I may end up taking that. And it's a bigger refrigerator, kind of freezer like this one, opposed to the little one that I have. And the little one may go in my room still. But I wanted a whole freezer, because I think that freezing is a good idea. Get your seal a meal and freeze meats, especially if you can get them on sale. Joe and I are talking, once I start working, I've been researching purchasing a cow from a farm. So you can purchase directly from a farmer, and they'll sell directly to the public, and they will render and cut it up, and then we could break up, and you can get an exorbitant amount of meat. For me as one person, but he has a family, so me and him splitting it, or me, him, and Linda, I'm looking at that route too. You need to research things, because things are getting ready to become very, very special. They're gonna do another rate hike. And also, if you're just looking at what our present administration is doing, the amount of money, we're going to give $8.9 billion to for some weapons for XYZ. It's insane. Oh my God, Rochelle, $800. When I went to go get the shot, I was talking to the lady at the pharmacy, and I said, oh yeah, I said, no, we were just talking in general. And somehow we started talking about food, and she said that her and her child went to go shopping and spent over $200 for stuff that would have cost her maybe $60 to $100 a couple of years back. And her kid said, we didn't get nothing. And it's like, I used to order from one of the Latino grocery stores and have it delivered here, Instacart. Man, the bags would cover, if y'all, hold on, I'm gonna turn this so y'all can see. See that window? Outside that window stretches from there to there. It's almost like a a sliding window, but it's not. It's older apartment, but that's the window for the front of my apartment. That window, there's a sidewalk that's a covered sidewalk. Okay, I guess you could call it like a little patio, but it's not closed in. It's just a walkway. That covered walkway, it would the groceries from that Instacart when I order from that Latino store would go from the front of that window all the way to the end. I haven't done a delivery from there, but by the time I did my last delivery I had from them, and I haven't done Instacart because the money I said has been funny, it went from almost not even always halfway. And the bags, it would be almost double row. It'd be like a row just to, and I was like, what the hell? Same stuff, same, and the same, I usually order almost the same thing, but I do it on a budget. So I have a certain amount of money. And I was like, what in the world? And what I spent, I'm like, what in the hell's going on? Things are changing. So my one is food security. And after going through what I'm going through right now financially, the other thing is having a stash of money. I'm going to focus more on, well, I'll still be focusing on the food stuff too, but I'm also going to focus more on making sure I have emergency cash. I'm also a proponent of silver and gold. I'm going to have that also, as you can get coins, and I'm probably going to have some of those here in the house as well. Monetary systems, a whole bunch of stuff. If you're watching what's going on over right now in Europe with their monetary system, that's an issue. I do believe we're going to have some issues, and I think you need to have other ways of possibly bartering and other forms of currency. I'm going to put it like that. I don't have a good vibe. I don't have a good vibe. We got way too much money out there. It's a worldwide issue, but right now economically it's hitting. It's hitting hard. I'm having a lot of problems. Like, our government right now is paying to bring back businesses who outsourced. They took jobs from the U.S., took them overseas so the big people on top can make a whole bunch of money at that company. And now we're paying millions and billions of dollars, begging these industries to bring their business back. Semiconductor, I'm just going to say, y'all wrong. As much money as you made, and the federal government is shelling out money that we're going to have to pay to have you bring jobs back to America because you wanted to pay slave wages in another country. I got problems. But again, this is America. You got the right to. But I don't know that I feel we got the right to pay you to bring that crap back. I think we should help some other businesses or people who want to start that industry, and your greedy behinds can stay over there and see if we can get Americans to make stuff over here. It's sad that the car companies had to turn into, although we're grateful for it, companies that manufactured respirators during the worst part of the COVID pandemic, because we had outsourced all our stuff to other countries. Child, bye. We got a lot we need to look at and learn from, and it's not really being dealt with because everybody wants to be nice instead of saying y'all foul. Y'all are foul, but you got the right to. You got the right to be foul. You got the right to. It is America. But if it ain't done in America, I got the right to call you foul. So, and you got your hand out. That's one of the things I will say. Ford Motor Company, you're a winner. When the whole government issue happened and all them car companies was in trouble, and they all came with their 10 cup, Ford said, nope, you know what? We're not even going to come with our 10 cup. We just going to reinvent ourselves. That's good, because y'all got a lot of money. You should be able to take your money and reinvent yourself. And that's exactly what the hell they did. Thank you for not bringing your 10 cup. Thank you for not being a greedy buzzard. So we are going to hit some very unique times, have food. I think you need to also make sure that you have supplies, food and water. And that's another thing. Like here in Arizona, the water that we have in the sink in most states sucks, okay? I don't know, it used to be when I grew up, we could drink right out the water hose. I don't know what they did, but they screwed all that up too. So you can't drink out the water. You can't faucet without filtering your water because it's nasty and ain't no telling what's in it. A lot of people even barely like to shower in it because it's horrible. But for example, right now I do have a little Asian filtration system. I would love to own, I think a Berkey. I'm going to research it because I've been researching stuff and that's been up and down. I'm hearing up and down things now about Berkey. Berkey supposedly At least it's always been marketed as one of the better filtration systems, but I'm gonna have to research it because I've been seeing other information on it, and I'm gonna research it and weigh it into balance. But I got a little Asian filtration system, and what I normally do is I boil the water and then I pour it in that little filter thing. It's like, like a, and I say Asian because that was what was available. It's like the Brita filter, and Brita filter is probably made not here in the U.S., somewhere else anyway. And you pour the water in there, and it filters the water for better taste and quality, and it takes out certain impurities. So I have that. I need to get some filters for it because I think I'm down to one, maybe two, and I need to order filters for it. But that's one, and then I would like to get a better one. That's one thing I did like about the Berkey is that it was a big filtration. You could get the big ones, but they're expensive. So something of that nature. Yeah, I did too, but I've been hearing some other stuff. There was a gentleman trying to start a business, and he talked about the filtration with the Berkey. I want to see. I've heard that you could filter some dirty stream water and then drink it. So it's supposed to have an excellent reputation. I'm going to research it because sometimes what I found is sometimes we go with publicities that companies push themselves, and it may not be true, but it may be true. We'll have to see. I want to go on and see reviews on it. But that's something I want in house. But I definitely say water. I normally was keeping about 16 cases of bottled water. Thank you, Jesus, because I'm a CPAP user and I couldn't get distilled water. You can make your own. So thank you. Somebody told me how to make your own. I did not go that route. I just started using the purified bottled water that I had here in the house. And between me drinking water and my CPAP, that stash of water has helped me. I haven't had to get any. I need to replace, but because that was not a budget-based issue going through this downturn for me, I used what I had on hand. And right now I still have 2, 4, 5.5 cases out of close to 16 cases here of bottled water. So now that I'm gonna be working, we're gonna start our stack again, get it up to 16 cases. I also have, and I would say this, so like what you saw happen in Texas and Florida, granted, some of those people couldn't be in their houses, but for people who may have been able to stay in their homes, but you don't know what's going to happen, you know this storm is coming, you know emergency situation is going to happen, have a way to collect water. So for me, some people get what's called a tub bladder, and it's like a big plastic thing that will sit, that you basically, it's like a big plastic piece that fits the whole tub, and they just turn the faucet on and fill that thing with water. Probably throw a couple of a little bleach in there, and that water is good. You could use it to bathe. You could use it. And I'm not talking about a full bath because obviously you need to conserve water. So you might be doing what they call a little sponge bath out the sink to keep yourself clean. You may be able to use that also to brush your teeth, wash your face, wash your hair. So there's things you can do. You may not be able to do a shower. You may not be able to sit in a tub and soak in a bunch of water, but you may be able to do what you need to keep yourself relatively clean. So think on those levels, people. I'm just going to say that. And some people may think that's extreme, but I'm going to tell you what I've just gone through just on a job situation and loss. What I did food-wise, and yeah, I'm big as hell, but even if I was skinny, you need to eat. It provided for me. And I have not gone to the grocery store for the most part and spent $100. I went with Linda the other day and we spent like, I think 10 in one store, 15 in another. And what I got was tomatoes, lettuce, tostada shells, bread. I'm lactose intolerant, so I did a non-dairy milk. Did I get coffee creamer? I may have gotten coffee creamer. Eggs. And let me tell you this quick story too, because I watch a couple, they travel in an RV, they're retired, and he's former military, black couple, funny as hell. So she goes to he drives her to the grocery store to go to Walmart, and she normally gets the big case of eggs for her family for the holidays. Well, I think she was in the egg section, and she said, and I've never bought the eggs to this degree, but the 60 thing egg at Walmart, she said back in the day, she could get it anywhere from $5 at the most, maybe $10. She went in there, this was like a couple days ago, $21. Let me say it again, y'all, $21 for some eggs. And her husband looked at her like, what the hell? So then she said, y'all, she said, well, now you know you, and she took a picture of it. She not to lie, she took a picture of it at the Walmart. And I'm like this. Let me tell you what she said. She said, y'all might have to put that on your layaway list to get eggs. And that's sad. But $21 and change, it was 21 and change for some eggs. Craziness. Um, Absolute craziness. You really need to look at some things. And I'm going to curve some things because what I was doing a grumpy move while I was working at this last company. The schedule I had, I wasn't a morning person. So I was ordering out a little bit more. I was ordering delivery. Um, oh, she said I paid over $15 for 60 here at Walmart. Okay. Yeah, because she's here in Arizona. Her and her husband are staying, they're in Fort Huachuca here in Arizona because they're military. And so I guess I didn't know the military offers military people, if you want to stay, they have RV campsites for them. So I've just kind of watched them travel around. I don't know these people personally. It's just the YouTubers that I watch travel around. And they're here in Arizona at Fort Huachuca. They were here. I think they were at Luke Air Force Base for a minute. I was watching them, and they just moved to Fort Huachuca, which is Tucson, Casa Grande area. No. Yeah, it might be between Tucson and Nogales, I think. It's somewhere like Fort Huachuca. So they're staying at a campground there, and they went to this Walmart, and she took pictures. I was like, wow. That's all I can say. Wow. Um, it's like, and I look at sale ads. So like, I'm a sale ad person. Like right now, they've got whole chickens, and I've been staying away because of the avian flu. I was really kind of leery, but I've been watching how they have tried to screen out the birds, and that is what's also affecting us is that the avian flu happened. But they got whole chickens for 99 cents a pound, Foster Farms. So, they got whole, they got the legs, and they got the thighs. I may go get a whole chicken and put it on the grill. I don't really have, if I have to cut the chicken up to store it in the freezer. So it's not something, this is where I would want a freezer, because a freezer would be a big freezer, because a freezer would be good, because then I could get a couple and put them in the freezer. But I don't have the room right now. So I may go and get one and smoke it, and then that'll be part of what I'll do for lunch next week. And put it on the grill and just kind of season it and smoke it, and do it that way. I used to have a rotisserie. I did get rid of my rotisserie because my goal is to get a rotisserie that goes on the outside grill. The one that I had in here, it was big, it was older, and it got really hot, and I don't have a lot of room. And so where I stored it, it's under spices, and most spice bottles are not made out of glass, they're made out of plastic. So I didn't want to use it there because then it would get too hot. And unfortunately, it would melt my bottle. So I wasn't using it enough. I went ahead and got it. It's like a combination of a rotisserie toaster oven, and it was older. It was older. Like I said, it didn't have any insulation for the toaster oven part. It just didn't. It's not very well made. And I have a little toaster oven. It's okay, but it doesn't get nearly what that one is on the outside. That one would heat up the house. It was hot. And if you set it the wrong way, it probably could catch something on fire. It would get that hot. So, because like I said, it wasn't built the best. Will I get another one? I do. I used to love doing rotisserie chickens because I would do my own, which come out to me better than the store because I season it the way I'm going to season it, rub it down, do everything I was going to do. I don't know. I want to get the one for the grill. I think the grill is better. I would also have alternative heating and cooking. Some of you guys, I guess your heating bills and your electric bills. So my electric bill here, I think last year, the first year I was here, I moved in November of 2019. And when I did my first summer here, the highest bill I ever had was about $100 for air conditioning in the summer. My bill this year is about $150. And I'm watching it. I'm like, I have the ceiling fan going right now. Normally, even when I walk around in the day, I keep the house between 81, 82 with the ceiling fan. That keeps it cool enough for me. At night, I can't sleep hot. I don't sleep well if I'm sweating. So I keep it between 79 and 78 with the ceiling fan going. And I have to sleep under a blanket. I'm weird. I know it's weird. I have to be cool enough to have a blanket. That's weird to me, but that's how I sleep, like a kid. But yeah, so, and I'm going to keep this, I got to get, because we're at 79 minutes, so I got to get this. Last thing that I want to talk about, but so definitely safe food, y'all. And like I said, it has come in. The prices are not going to go down. They're going to get worse next year, in my humble opinion. You also have your fuel costs going back up again. That's a whole nother thing. Last thing I'm going to talk about, and this is going to be a little bit weird, but it was a conversation I had, and it's kind of be a little left up in the air. So as I said, I'm a molest victim as well. And I talked to, kind of, I call him my play kid, one of my play kids, and we were talking about the fact she's also a molest victim. And there's a lot in the female world, I believe, who have been molested as children. Whether your parent just didn't do a good job, or whether you just had a sucky parent who, for whatever reason, I mean, I've heard all sorts of issues just as a minister, even from men who have been molested or sexually raped or abused. And some of them were the mother traded them for drugs. Some of it was within families. Some of it was a stranger. And watch your kids if you have them. That's the other thing. Watch your children if you have them. I don't care if it's a relative. I'm big on, I don't trust nobody, because I know, it was my aunt, they had no clue. My aunt was, oh, we liked your step. He's a perv. Let me tell you about him. I'll tell you straight up. I've even told siblings, the siblings who this is their biological father, and to them it's weird, the behavior. And it was something that me and this young lady were talking about, and I kind of consider her like a play daughter. And she's like, this particular individual is the brother of a grandmother. And how it was handled once it was told that this was going on was bizarre to me in and of itself. But even now, the fact that the grandmother is friendly with the brother. Now, Christian hat, we are to forgive. We are to forgive people. But I also realize that forgiving and being around wickedness, because the Bible deals with talking about entertaining wicked folk, and that we're not to do that. That is wickedness, okay? I can forgive you, but I do think, A, you should possibly be locked up. B, though, I have an issue with those who still want to engage with these people as if nothing happened, oh well, not a big deal, or they don't believe you. And sometimes they come and let these people sit at the family table. That's even more horrific to me than anything else. There's a show, and I think it's called The Greenleafs. I think that's it. I couldn't watch the whole thing. Actually, I only was able to watch, I think, a couple episodes because it turns my stomach, but it's very indicative and it's true. In The Greenleafs, my understanding, and again, I haven't watched it in years, is what I remember. There's a daughter, it's a ministry family. It's Christian, supposedly a Christian family. The daughter comes back to help the family with the family church. She also now has a daughter. Her sister, it sounds like, committed suicide due to the molestation by an uncle who happens to be the brother of her mother. At least that's what I remember. They're having a family dinner, and Chester the molester sits at the table. And the mama still defends it. I'm done. Guys, I don't even know how to put into context any of that, because it to me is just bizarre. But there are women who are just like my biological mother who want to lie and act like they didn't know, when I know based on other conversations with other people you did know. Matter of fact, you accused the individual of having an affair. A 9-year-old cannot have an affair with a grown person. They cannot. I have an uncle that I found out was doing some things with a cousin. And at this point in time, there's not any contact we're going to have. Deuces. You're an uncle by marriage, but even if you weren't by marriage, if you're a pervy, deuces. I want nothing to do with you. I will not entertain wickedness. And there's wickedness when you mess with children. It's just wickedness. And there's something wrong with you. Okay? I don't understand the people who do it. I know there's probably spirits behind it. It's a weird thought process. It's bizarre. But when you let Chester sit at the table, there's a problem. You got the right to. It's America. You got the right to. But I got the right not to deal with you. And that's where I see it. Closing out on a spiritual note on this. There's a lot of things happening in our time, from the food issues that are happening. All of this is lining up. Like I said, that's what, I don't know what your Christian views are, but prophetically there is some things coming, and we call it a stage being set. There's a culmination of things that are merging together for end time events. The food shortage is a huge part of it. That is one huge part. This political ethnic divide is another part of it. That's one thing. On my next talk, I'm going to talk about ethnicity, because that was something else Stephania brought up, and I'll talk about that on my next talk, maybe end of this week before I start working a new job. We'll do maybe a video Saturday or Sunday. All of this is culminating for the reason. There's a reason why these intense standoffs, because there is a point where you're going to have an intense belief system about taking a number that will help you buy or sell, help you be able to get food, help you to have a job. There's a time in which that is coming. And so I believe that this intense attitude that seems to be permeating and coming up out of nowhere, it's almost just like, where did this come from? Is happening to prepare for things to come once, as Christians believe, the church is raptured out of here. Now, some people don't believe in the rapture, and that's your choice. If it don't happen, oh well, I guess I'm going to be here for this event. But it is my hope that it happens. When it's going to happen, I hope that I'm in that party, because I do not want to be left here when it happens. But all of this is culminating for that reason. So some people will say, well, if you believe you're going to be raptured, why prepare? Well, I prepare for myself, but also if I get raptured, I got food here left behind for somebody else who's going to need it. Because trust me, if that event happens, and when I'm going to say it, when that event happens, that food is going to be needed, and they will come in here and get it, and they're welcome to it. In the meantime, it does tell us biblically that we're going to go through famines and rumors of wars and everything that's happening right now. And it also tells us, even in the Old Testament and in the Psalms, that the ant saves up for certain times and seasons. This is what this is. So make sure you got everything you need. If y'all want, y'all can comments help the channel. So please, even after the video, I'm not talking chat, comments. Comment if you want me to kind of talk about what I did, because I'm probably good on at least 6 months to a year of supplies. Because again, I was collecting for 2 people, as if Grumpy was going to have to be here in case. So I could always be a blessing to one other person. I can't feed a whole family. So as I tell people, don't come knocking on that door. I'm already giving y'all the warning on what I sense. So you need to be stocking up. Don't come knocking on this door. So don't come knocking on this door. Don't come knocking on this door, because folks have blessed me. But you need to stock up. You need to go ahead and do your stocking and stock up. And make sure you have what you need, emergency supplies, especially because the cost is going to come up even more. And shop the sale ads. You get them every week. You're going to have to shop them. And then when you buy canned goods, buy more than 1 can. I know somebody said they don't like canned food. You're going to have to find a way. Because you're not going to have fresh food all the time. If fresh food's not available, what are you going to do? If a major crisis happens, you can bust open a can of raviolis. You can bust open a can of beans. You can bust open a can of corn. Most vegetables are edible. I think the only one that needs to be cooked are like potatoes that are canned. And I even have potatoes in the can. You can bust those open and heat them up in a heating source to heat them, and have alternative ways to do things. Water on hand, and how to get water in case of an emergency. I have collapsible totes in my room. I don't know how many gallons. I bought them. I found out about them from a guy who was an RVer, and I was like, oh, that's perfect for an apartment. And I went to the site and found a cheap way, because Amazon's expensive. And I found a cheap site that does water bottles that are collapsible. I think I got 7-gallon water bottles. I even got a spigot that goes on there and you can clamp off. So you could use that in an emergency case, brush your teeth, put a little bit in the sink, wash your body. If worst case, it could even become drinking water. You just filter it. Water is essential. There's 2 things that are essential: water and food. Those are essential. And a way to go to the bathroom. Even if I can't use the toilet here, I have a porta john. The same porta john I had on the truck. It's a 5-gallon bucket. It's called what's that? The portable. I think it's portable. Portable. I have all that on there. So, yeah, yeah. Anywho, what was I gonna tell y'all? That's it. Miss Linda's trying to get a hold of me. Y'all, I want you to be blessed. 2 and 2. And let me know if y'all got any other topics, because I'll be doing topics. Eventually, I'll be doing some cooking stuff too. Like I said, I'm getting stuff ready, and then we're going to get a different tripod to help with that. But I'll probably jump on here and let y'all know how the new job is after next week. I start Monday. Y'all be praying for me, prayers for you. Chicago BBW, y'all be praying for her. I don't know. I haven't heard from her. I know that her father was very sick, and I don't know if he's passed or not. But we're praying for her family. Y'all 2 and 2, be blessed.